Lowdown with Loren Meadows, presented by Sideline Sports. Tonight, we're joined by Great Gator Gate and host of the 84 Reason podcast, my main man, Ben Troupe, with his monthly installment of What's Got Troupe Trippin'. The Florida Gators softball team prepares for the regional round of the NCAA tournament, and we will have a little bracketology with the voice of Gator softball, Kyle Crooks. And Rob Brown of SEC Sideline joins us to talk the way too early top 25 in football, and we can discuss the most electric players in college football history. All that, as well as kicks of the week and the hottest news segment in Gator sports, hype or have at it. Good evening. I'm your host, Loren Meadows, and we'll be joined shortly by Gator great Ben Troupe. We want to thank our sponsors, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, and continue to like and subscribe to Lowdown with Loren Meadows. Read me on GatorBaitMedia.com. Also follow me on Instagram at Ohio Gator for Life and X at The Real Ohio Gator. And with that, we say good evening to my main man, Ben Troupe. Let's see how he's doing out there. What's up, Ben?
Man, what's up, Lauren, man? Thanks for having me, man. I mean, congratulations on everything, my brother.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's going pretty good. You know, I'm out here doing my thing down in South Florida this week. So we out of the studio, but man, happy to have you on, man. And you know, it's something that we planned to do a long time ago. I appreciate you, giving me the encouragement along with Buddy, our executive producer, Brendan Martin, and others. But we're gonna do this every month, man, and we're gonna get it popping with What's Got Troupe Tripping, man. We bounce back and forth about a lot of things, but let's get to it, man. What's got Troupe tripping?
Well, what's got me tripping is how everybody seemed to only have negative things to say about student athletes when it comes to college athletics, and no one ever has anything to say about these coaches, right? Like I go back to the NCAA tournament, coaches making it to the Sweet 16, losing, going to a new. Coaches make lateral moves, players are soft. Coaches do what's best for their families. Players don't want to compete. Coaches are trying to make sure they get the most money they possibly can. These players, man, they ruining college football. First, it was a transfer portal. Now it's NIL. But here's the thing, though, Lauren. You know what really got me tripping is this: why we only can name the best players in college sport? Everybody know Archie Manning, right? Everybody know these quarterbacks. And I know that Nico from Tennessee is the first holdout ever. Why no more holdouts? I will say this to everybody who seem to think that college football particularly is going down the chute because these players don't want to compete. Who you think a player learned it from? Everything a player does, he learned from a coach, right? There was a guy, what was his name? Jimbo Fisher, won the national championship at Florida State, signed a fully guaranteed contract at Texas A&M, didn't do anything at A&M, and walked away with more money than Nick Saban. I'm going to say that again. Jimbo Fisher signed a fully guaranteed contract, didn't live up to expectations, had the number one recruiting class, didn't even play in the SEC championship game, walked away with more money than Nick Saban. Yeah, well, Ben, no. NIL is not the problem. Transfer portal is not the problem. What's the problem, Ben? The NCAA knew that the NIL transfer portal was coming. What did it do? Sat on his hands. Didn't do anything, right? I'm just saying, for me, Lauren, is always going to be this. Being a former player myself, I'm always going to be speaking on behalf of the player. Why? Because no one else will. Not from a standpoint of being consistent with it. So I'm always going to speak on because here's the thing. 99.9% of all players, male and female, ain't going pro. You better get as much as you can while you can get it. You better use your leverage while you have it. Because guess what? Coach, I can't even think of his name, man. The former head coach of Arkansas, Patino. I think his name, Coach.
Oh,
Patino.
yeah. Petrino, Bobby Petrino.
Listen, Bobby Petrino was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons on Monday Night Football, and the next day he was the head coach of Arkansas. Listen, he was the head coach of the Falcons. Didn't have a post-game press conference, didn't come to the locker room, didn't talk to the team, and the next day, whatever they do in Arkansas, he was doing it, and no one said a word. Right. So miss me with all the players gonna do this, players gonna do that. All I'm gonna say is this, Lauren. Listen. If you want me to care about what happens to players, you better start having more rules and restrictions on these coaches. Because coaches, Lincoln Riley, remember him? Back-to-back number one overall picks, a Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. Why did he go to USC? Because he could.
Right.
Nothing was wrong. It is the same Lincoln Riley that when Bob Stoops knew he was leaving Oklahoma, they went through a full recruiting cycle, and they didn't tell that recruiting class that he was leaving. Bob, they wanted to get the players they got in, and then Bob Stoops said, "Hey man, I'm leaving." Now he went over there to USC. Listen, if he didn't win a national championship at Oklahoma, you think he went and won a USC? Nope. He's not gonna. But once again, $15 million a year, 24-hour access to private jets. I'm not mad at Lincoln Riley. Why are we so mad at the players? You know why we mad at the players, Loren? Listen, sometimes it ain't the person. Listen, it ain't that you benefiting. It's who benefiting. Oh, we don't like you getting these benefits because, like I said, once again, I'm gonna keep saying this. One of my favorite movies of all time is Belly with DMX, may he rest in paradise, and Nas. In the movie, Nas said, "Hey man, we going to Africa, man. We trying to, you know what I'm saying?" And then DMX said, he said, "Yeah, man, we trying to teach my baby how to read." DMX said, "Your baby can't eat no books, man." So as much as you get, listen, as much as the education at these colleges are incredible, that's not how you got there. So you telling me it's okay if I'm an All-American off the field and I can be okay on the field? It ain't gonna work like that. Loren, you know it don't work like that. And I'm not saying you be one-dimensional. I'm saying if Tim Tebow was the greatest student of all time and he was okay on the field, his legacy wouldn't be the same. So for me, I know y'all gonna be like, "Being you always," I said, look, have you ever had a job and moved to another job? Yeah. Did you have to sit out a year? Did you get criticized for it? Did people jump all over you because did you have a bunch of grown men at tweeting you when you decided to pick another school over their school at the last minute? I'm telling y'all, if y'all really saw what these athletes have to deal with, some of these people that be dealing with these players, man, y'all need to get a life. Because I'm telling you, at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you while you in a position to do it. Don't get mad at these players. So yeah, what we getting at me? No, go ahead, Loren.
Right. And no, let me and I want to ask you this because this, you and I have chopped it up about a many of things, and this is one of them. And I think sometime when we talk about this NIL, the college players are not the ones paying each other.
No.
So when we talk about adults talking about young men, I have no problem with, because the market sets itself. We love to talk about economics and the economy and a lot of other different, areas. But it's the adults that are blaming the kids for getting paid by adults. That's where we got to look. I've had many a person tell me, and I have a friend of mine. Every time somebody transfers, and I get upset too, but I got orange and blue glasses on. I get upset about the fact that he's always like, "Well, yeah, go get your money," and I think about it because I'm a person that, yes, if I was in the NIL area and had the way to make money, maybe like somebody like yourself would have been able to, then yeah, I would have maybe made a buck or two, but I couldn't have been enticed by more money to go somewhere else because I was loyal to my boys, and that kind of thing. But what we need to remind ourselves is that Nico, it wasn't Nico, it was another adult.
Yes.
It was the people that are paying these young, it's other adults, but it's so quick to blame the kid. I think it's almost like maybe call it parental syndrome, where we're blaming that instead of looking at ourselves, maybe it's like as parents. You say, well, man, we created this monster, me and the wife. Me and the wife created this spoiled child. This is adults doing this, it's adults paying these young men. They could have set the market at $500, right, Ben?
Yeah.
Couldn't it?
Yeah.
They could have set it at $5,000. They could have set it at 10 grand. But instead they set it at 10 million. 10,000. So it just, and I mean, and so I think that's one of the things that, when you talk about it and is that kind of thing. So and I want to ask you, Ben Troupe, you got a great story, but we talk about Mama Troupe. We talk about Daddy Troupe. We talk about Bro Troupe, who told you, boy, that's Steve Spurrier. You going. So talk to me about, and we'll get to Kyle, but and obviously, but for this week about, and we'll close up what's got Troupe tripping with this is You put you in this era now. You've been Troupe, one of the
Mm-hmm.
best tight ends in the Southeast, maybe in the country. You going to Florida State, but Mama Troupe, Daddy Troupe, morals, values. What would their have discussion have been with you? With okay, Ben, you got 500,000 to go to Florida now. South Carolina offers Troupe 750,000.
Mm.
What would have been this discussion?
My mama is a God-fearing woman, and wherever my mama told me she had dreams. Listen, she said she prayed to God, and God told her she seen gators in her dreams. Right, so I'm going to Florida. Right, I'm going. But here's the thing, though, Loren. Money do stuff that only it can, and I don't think people understand. Right, Coach Spurrier was the premier coach in college football. That's taking nothing away from Bobby Bowden. That's taking nothing away from these other coaches. But Loren, here's the thing, right? I was blessed to become what I became at the University of Florida through great coaching, great teammates, great resources, great everything, right? Great everything. I still think I'm going to Florida no matter what. I still think. But Loren, I'm going to say a little Loren. Think about this. Young Loren Meadows, Jr., grew up a Florida Gator fan. My daddy was, I'm a Florida Gator fan. Hey, daddy, they offering 500. Yeah. Ohio State say, we're going to offer you 5.5. You're going to be like, it doesn't mean you're going to Ohio State, but they're going to make you consider it. They're going to say, all right. You like, ugh. See, and that's what people don't understand is, look, name a job you've ever gotten. Take away sports. Why did you really pick it? Benefits, yearly salary. That's why you pick it. It ain't because of the PTOs. It ain't because of the vacation time. You say, hey, man, what? They offer me $150K. What? Yeah, I got to drive an extra 30 minutes to get to work. This one over here offered me $75K. So they're doubling right here. I'm telling you, I still think I go to Florida. I don't think I'm going nowhere but Florida. But the consideration would have been a lot different, Loren, because once again, I don't know how much I'm worth, but they throwing money like, wait. What? Let me tell y'all something. Most people in life, and regardless of what you do, 100K is still the barometer when you start talking about how much money people want to make. They want to give you 500 of them. But they over there say, dang, 500,000, that's what? Yeah. That's 5 with 2 zeros, a comma, and 3 zeros after that. Then somebody say, well, put a zero and add another comma. What? 5 mil? Yeah. Like $5 million. Yeah. $5 million was a lot of money back in 2000. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money now.
So my thing is, Loren, it's that. It's not the player and it's not the parents. It's not their decision making. It's, hey, man, you don't think they know where your mom and daddy work already? You don't think they know what your mom and daddy bring in? They saying, hey, mama, hey, daddy, what if I'm giving you what y'all make together for the next 20 years in one transaction? We'll call you back. We'll let you know, coach. Because I'm telling y'all, the kid that was supposed to go to LSU and went to Michigan, he don't even know what Ann Arbor is. He can count to 10 million. He can count. So, and at the end of the day, Loren, let me tell you something. No player is making a bad decision when you're trying to do what's best for your family, because there is no guarantee that they're gonna pan out. Yeah, 4-star, 5-star sounds good, but until you do it on the field, hey man, it's a big shoulda, coulda, woulda. But I just know that at the end of the day, I'm always gonna be on the side of common sense and not perception. And the perception is I could have got this. The reality is you signed for what? And it'll get better. But I just get sick of the people saying, "Oh, that's gonna be the end of college football. I ain't watching no more." Yes, you will. You're gonna be watching when when they kick the ball off. Football is it's idiot proof, man. Once you kick when there's no football and things are making headlines, that's why Nico gets a lot of attention. Him and the quarterback from UCLA, they switch places. So the UCLA quarterback going to Tennessee, Nico's going to UCLA. But at the end of the day, if you were in that situation, what are you gonna do? The great Hugh Douglas said it the best. Former Philadelphia, he said in football, you're gonna get two things: money and memories. You better get as much as you can, as fast as you can. And I believe that. And because guess what? Most players ain't going pro. Florida had 7 guys drafted in this recent draft. How many didn't get drafted? That's the reality of college right there. Not the ones that did, it's the ones that didn't. I'm always gonna be on the side of the players every single time.
Hey man, that's what's got Troupe tripping in this edition, no doubt, man. No, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate your candor. And it's definitely, more food for thought for sure. And like I agree with you, all of that is what it is. But once you
Mhm.
kick the ball off, it's still the greatest game in the world. So,
Absolutely, no doubt, no doubt,
definitely. I
no
mean,
doubt.
no doubt about it. So Ben, I know you follow Florida softball. You've had a couple girls. I know you
Yeah.
interviewed Corby Otis, Keegan Rothrock, among others. Plan to get some more on the show. We're gonna try to get some on here as well. But we're gonna bring in Kyle Crooks, voice of Gator softball, to talk about these matchups. The Florida Gators will begin regional play. I think it's on Friday against Florida. With Mercer, Georgia Tech, and Florida Atlantic. So that'll be the regional matchup. The Gators are the number 3 overall seed based on, I think, strength of schedule that was ranked as high as 2, according to most. And we got Kyle Crooks, the voice of Gator softball, to break it down for us. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm good, Lauren,
Good,
Ben.
man. Good to
Nice to
see you.
meet you.
How you doing, man? How you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah.
So it's a fun time of year. It's the madness. It's the softball version of the madness. KSP. Hopefully, the next 2 weekends, the Gators should have the case to host a super regional if they get through this field, which I think is one of the highest median RPI regional fields within all of the regionals this weekend. A really good Mercer team. Lindsay Fico, former Gator, the head coach there, she's coming back. Georgia Tech was here in Gainesville in 2022. They were an at-large team this year in the ACC. And then Florida Atlantic, probably one of the best mid-major teams in the country. They can pitch it. They can hit it. So it ain't going to be easy. The Gators got to find a way and hopefully head to another super.
Wow, yeah. So, when you look at this Florida team, Kyle, and I think we had a lot of high hopes because this was kind of the time of year where they really went on that run last year. And I think everybody kind of thought the same thing was going to happen again. Unfortunately, faltered against Ole Miss, and wasn't able to maybe make that push in the SEC tournament. But because the strength of schedule was so strong, and because you look at the body of work, the road win at overall number 1 seed Texas A&M, you had the series win against Oklahoma, among others. This team can kind of, I think, instead of maybe riding the wave like they were doing last year, it's almost like I would say, a clean slate now, almost a second season, so to speak, as you head into these regionals.
Yeah, I think the good thing, Lauren, is the fact that if there is a good thing about losing early in the SEC tournament is unlike last year, now you have the chance to rest a little bit, get your pitching good to go, hopefully get Keegan another week of rest for her, get the lineup re-energized, rejigger, whatever you want to say about the offense. And it was they ran into a really good pitcher, Brianna Lopez for Ole Miss, who shut out Missouri the day before. She was dealing. She re-entered into the game. The Gators made it interesting. One thing you can say about Tim Walton teams is they seem to find a way in the 6th through the 7th inning in big games, and had back-to-back home runs in the 7th inning from Erickson, who'd been struggling a little bit at the plate. That snapped an offer for her. And then Taylor Shoemaker hit her 18th home run of her freshman season to tie the game. I thought at that point in time, there's no way Florida's losing this game. And credit Ole Miss. They came back in extra innings, and Ava was so good up until that one bad pitch, I guess, that caught a lot of plate and was a 3-run home run. And still Florida had, I believe it was the tying run to the plate, or perhaps tying run on base, down 3 runs in the 8th inning, and just wasn't enough. But I think it's a team that, talking to people around the program, they're fired up. The practices have been good the last couple of days. It's the lineup that can win a national championship. Is the pitching complement that enough to where the Gators can find themselves making some damage in this postseason? I foresee it's a team that will find its way into the World Series. Don't want to jinx anything in that regard, but they have the prospective matchup would be Duke. I feel like that's a matchup that could favor Florida. Although they played earlier this year, they split the 2 meetings that they played. And everything's going to run through KSP. That's a hard place to win if you're an opponent. And the Gators have a lot of experience in the postseason. So experience along with, I think, a generational type lineup. Now, hopefully it lives up to that standard. And can the pitching match up as well to what we've seen offensively at certain moments?
Yeah. Now looking at some of the other matchups in the regional round. What other region sticks out to you? We've got everybody's. The Texas A&M has St. Francis, Marist, Liberty. I was kind of looking at that. The Florida State. With Robert Morris, South Florida, Auburn. You got the Mississippi with Texas Tech down there with Mississippi State, Washington. But which matchup outside of Florida really sticks out to you? To maybe be a situation where it could either be an upset or just one of the more entertaining weekends in softball.
I'll say this, Texas Tech being a 12 national seed, I was really happy to see that they were not the 14. If anybody that has not followed college softball, Nigeri Kennedy, who got the $1 million NIL deal, the highest ever softball NIL deal, pitched for Stanford last year, single-handedly brought them to a World Series. She's hitting now at Texas Tech. The fact the Gators won't have to deal with Nigeri Kennedy in a super regional makes all the world of difference. Like Texas Tech could come in. This is a sport. You get one pitcher hot, you can win a best of three. Like that would have been a nightmare had they matched up with Texas Tech in a super regional. But I'm looking, this is the one everybody's talking about, Loren. LSU, they caught the short end of the stick in terms of who they got. So they're the number 10 national seed. Nebraska, another two-way player that a lot of people have heard of is Jordy Ball. She played for Oklahoma, won a national championship there, and she decided to go back to her home state. It was a chance for her not just to pitch, but to be a hitter as well. She won the Big Ten Pitcher and Player of the Year this season. They're the number 2 seed in that bracket. UConn, who won, I believe, their first Big East championship ever in softball. They're in that regional field. And then Southeastern Louisiana, who's a team that steals a ton of bases. I don't think they'll give LSU trouble, but Nebraska LSU, that's like a heavyweight fight that you would see most years in a super regional. Nebraska was on that bubble to possibly be a top 16 and host. So the fact that you're a 10 national seed and you have somebody who potentially could have been a host as your number 2 seed, that's a disaster. Alabama has the 15 national seed. They have Virginia Tech as their number 2 in that. I could see Virginia Tech knocking off Alabama, and that regional would stack up with Oklahoma in a possible super regional. I see those two maybe as two of the most intriguing matchups, I think. And then Arkansas as well. They're the number 4. Oklahoma State's a really good team. They've underachieved a little bit this year. Kenny Gajewski's a name a lot of Gator fans know. He was here as an assistant, part of those national championship teams. So perhaps Arkansas, could they be out early? And if Arkansas wins, Loren and Ben, Arizona would be their matchup. So Arizona's knocked out Arkansas back-to-back years, once in a regional and once in a super. The big thing about Arkansas is they just can't get over the hump to be a World Series team. Eventually, they're going to have to get over that Arizona hurdle that's hurt them the last couple of years. So those are a few that stand out just looking at the bracket.
Yeah, I mean, Courtney Deifel was one of the hot names the last couple of years just in softball. But, that's what I've always pointed to. I mean, in softball, they judge it. You got to get to Oklahoma City,
Yeah.
and that's really what's evaded them under her leadership. Even though they've progressed as a program, you got to make it. Ben, it kind of filters down to what Kyle was talking about, and you were tripping earlier. Nigeri Kennedy, $1 million. How you like that for a pitcher?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a bargain. I mean, only because the one thing I get about the women athletes at Florida and at most schools, they're the most popular. They just don't got 90,000 seat stadiums. But Kyle, I mean, I got to ask you something that you said. I mean, nobody is as consistent as our softball team. But here comes Oklahoma, here comes Texas. What is it? Is it pitching? Is it health? Is it momentum? What is it gonna? No one's gonna be surprised when Florida, makes it to the World Series. But it's like so many things got to go your way. They've won so many ways. What, in Kyle's opinion, what do you have to see to go, okay? Because it's a game of momentum. It's a game of style. What is it going to take for this softball team this year? Because, like I said, you welcome Oklahoma and Texas into the SEC, but ain't nobody really trying to deal with Oklahoma for real, the way as consistent as they've been. What do you think it's going to take for us, to be the last team?
Keegan Rothrock being what she was last year, maybe a little bit more. She's the ace pitcher of the staff. I think it's going to take, like I said earlier, it's just the pitching has to be at a different level. I think Ava Brown has stepped up. She's been great. She's almost been a de facto closer. You don't see a whole lot of closers or people specifically in that role. It's more of a baseball thing, but Ava's pitched so many high leverage innings. She's in a much better spot than maybe I thought she would be pitching wise. So that's number one. I think Keegan Rothrock and Ava Brown. And is there a third behind her that is consistent enough to pitch big innings when Keegan Rothrock doesn't have it, when she can only go 2 innings and they have to pull her? And is it an Caitlin Oxley? Is it a Kara Hammock? Is it Olivia Miller? Like there's a lot more arms this year for the Gators than there was last year. It was Keegan and that's it. Like, let's throw out Keegan, and then if her arm falls off, then we'll come up with a plan B. But this year there's a little bit more depth in the staff, but can you get it to be a little bit more consistent? Oxley's going to pitch in her first regional in her career. She's just a freshman, but I think that's the biggest thing. And then offensively, Kendra Falvey's been great. Taylor Shoemaker's been great. Can Jocelyn Erickson and Corby Otis, that tag team, so Jossie will hit 2 in the lineup, does the catching, a league catcher. Corby Otis was the SEC Scholar Athlete of the Year. Congrats to Corby. Last year at the SEC Awards, the Gators won a ton of SEC awards. This year, it wasn't really the case. Like, Jocelyn Erickson had somewhat of a down SEC year in terms of the numbers. Didn't see a whole lot to hit. Corby Otis, sort of the same thing. I think those two, Corby, this is her last year. I think they need to live up to the All-American standard that they had last year. If they do, this is a team that can win a national championship. If they don't, then we'll probably see more of the same, where it's kind of inconsistent. You win one game, you super regional, you win one game, you'll lose the next, and then you'll sort of have to sweat it out in a game 3 and have to sweat out a World Series. Can you win enough to get to a championship series? So can their stars be consistent? I think that's the biggest thing here for the Gators, but that goes for a lot of teams here in the postseason.
Yeah, Kyle, appreciate it, man. We want to, we started a new thing on the new segment on the Lowdown with Loren Meadows. It's called Hype or Have At It. So basically, we're going to throw some stuff out there to you. You and Ben both. Ben gets to play the whole show. But it's Hype or Have At It. We ask our guests. Hype is, nah, that's not really going to happen. Or have at it. That means, yeah, that take it and run. So give you a couple. So it looks like, you got some big time teams. The softball bracket stays chalk, which means all the higher seeds, continue on to the super regionals. Is that Hype or Have At It this year in D1 softball?
I say Hype. I think there was, so with that, I'm saying there will be a couple of upsets, correct? Okay. I want to play the game correctly.
And give me one too, as you explained. Give me one you think.
I think Virginia Tech in Tuscaloosa. It's not that much of an upset. Also, I could throw Nebraska at you, like I mentioned before, but I think Ellis, I don't know, that one will be a toss-up for me. If I'm picking one team, I think it's, Alabama. I'm not all that sold on them. They have some issues as well. I think Virginia Tech is that one team that could get to a super regional. We're a few years removed, Loren, where we had, I think it was 2 unseeded national teams hosting a super regional. Let's, hopefully there's no chaos in Gainesville this weekend, but let's hope there's a little bit of chaos just for the fun of it.
Ben, what you think? Hype or Have At It? Bracket stage chalk, or are we looking for the upsets?
I think I agree with Kyle. I think it's going to be Hype for this reason. We get so caught up in seeing, rooting for and seeing SEC. It's some really, really good teams out there that's saying, "All right, man, this is the only way we're going to be on the national stage." And if I'm not a media darling, I don't. No pressure's on me. And the pressure's always on the top seed. So I'm gonna go Hype.
All right. And the second one, Hype or Have At It. I know you cover baseball as well, Kyle. You've done a couple games with Steve Russell. The baseball team is now 13th nationally in some polls, looking at hosting a regional for the third year in a row. Do we have the Gator baseball there in Omaha and women's softball in Oklahoma City? Both teams make it to the World Series. Hyper, have at it.
I'm having at it. I want it. I want both in the World Series. I think baseball, probably not the best team right now because of some of their injuries. Just think if they were healthy, like they would be one of the best rosters in college baseball, but they're the most dangerous, the hottest team currently. I mean, everybody knows here in your audience, they just won 2 of 3 at Texas. And if it weren't for a rain delay, they'd probably sweep and win game 2 and win that series going away. I mean, they've completely flipped the script from a 1-11 start. They're pitching it well. They have 2 of the best pitchers in the country as their top 2 starters, and their offense is as good as anybody in the SEC. And I think, and I guess I'm biased. I can't not be biased, but I think softball will find itself in Oklahoma City as well this year. So I'm buying it. I'm writing the check. I'm buying it.
All right, Ben.
I have at it, absolutely. I mean, the way that baseball came back from the dead, I mean, you know how hard it is, as great as, as SEC baseball is, and it's all about how you finish, man. And we finished like gangbusters when you look at what that, and it's all about momentum going into the tournament. So I have at it. And look, at the end of the day, nobody has more freaking flyer miles than Scott Strickland in the spring. Nobody in the SEC. So he gonna have to decide, hey man, which way is that private jet going? I will want nothing more than to horse up 2 more natties. They already can't stand us. Let's make sure we put an exclamation point on it. Let's go 2 for 2 women, softball and baseball. Let's do it.
I remember seeing Scott in the hotel last year because baseball was at the regional in Stillwater. So he was driving back and forth. So I remember talking to him in the lobby, and he's saying, yeah, I'm going to baseball and I'll be back for softball later. So it was convenient for him. He was just driving back and forth between the regional and the World Series that year. And the Gators made such an awesome run last year to the, if necessary, game in the semifinals. So he was there for pretty much all of it.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, before we let you go, Kai, I want to let you in on another segment that we got on Lowdown with Loren Meadows. I know you see my kicks before at the basketball games, but it's kicks of the week with I'm trying to holler at StockX, GOAT, all Flight Club. I'm looking for that sponsorship, but it's the silver on gray Jordan 1s, the throwback. So shout out to Kelly Ray Finley. She got me wearing the Jordan 1s. So our kicks of the week. See them, Ben? What you think? What you think, Ben? Throw yours out. You got okay, all right, there it is.
I got some dirty slides on right now. I got some basketball there. They're Jordan.
But, no doubt.
Kyle said if we get the free kicks, hey, this is what Jordan
wants. My entire closet is free Jordans from women's basketball, and I ain't mad about it.
StockX, GOAT, Flight Club, holla at us, man. You see us out here, best shoe game in the Gator media right here. So these clean. So definitely the Jordan 1s. So have fresh kicks coming to you every week. But appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming on, Kyle. I'll see you this weekend. I won't be there Friday, but I'll see you Saturday. So definitely looking forward to it, man. And you can catch Kyle on Learfield Sports covering the Gators. You doing the TV?
No, that's all national at this point. Okay. So radio from here on out, you can listen on RUF, WRUF, or you can listen on the Varsity app, FloridaGators.com. We're all over the place. So Ryan Urquhart will be with me for the regional, and we look forward to that. Lauren, anytime you need me, just reach out. Love doing it, Ben. Great to meet you. I grew up watching you play in that Gator uniform, so it's great to chat with you and get to meet you for the first time. So
hey, listen, Kyle, I'm gonna add you to the list of people. I'm gonna say, yeah, man. People say, Kyle, man, I've been kicking with Kyle for years, man. That's the homie. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just add you to the Rolodex. It's always good to meet you, man. And enjoy yourself this weekend, man.
It's an honor. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks
appreciate
so much.
you, Kyle. Thanks, man. And before we bring in our man Rob Brown, we're gonna talk about our sponsor, Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, proven and skilled lawyers since 1971. Hit that QR code. That'll send you right to their website. They specialize basically in injury law and other litigation issues. But if it's something you need, estate planning, anything like that, they'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction, refer you to somebody that can help you out. Meldon Law doing a lot of great things in the Gainesville community, both for the University of Florida, surrounding areas, just great people at Meldon Law. And got to see the Meldons there at the Final Four. They were really enjoying themselves and just having a great time. Just big supporters of all Gator sports and students as well. So check them out. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We won't back down. And with that, we bring in our man from SEC Sidelines, Rob Brown. What's going on, Rob?
Well, listening to you talking about Larry Meldon estate planning, an unplanned estate, two farmers fighting over a milk cow. One's pulling on the head, one's pulling on the tail. Lawyer's milking the cow. Get the right lawyer. That doesn't happen. This guy sounds like an incredible attorney. Man, I was listening to y'all talking about softball and baseball, and I'm with Ben, man. That way, Lazarus, Florida coming back from the dead. It's the way they started. And look, the more we do this show together, the more Auburn and Florida kind of mirror each other. Football struggling, working their way out of hell. Basketball, can't get any closer than that. Yeah. Baseball, both of them started off, they were calling the kinfolks to the bedside, and here they roll. Kevin O'Sullivan, he's been to the World Series 8 or 9 times. It's in their DNA. So I'm with Ben and the frequent flyers for Scott Strickland. You don't want to play the Gators right now. They're just, it's in their DNA to win. They're wired that way.
Yeah, no doubt. It's funny too. We talk about Auburn and Florida, and you know what I heard the strength of the Auburn team is the receivers as well, and that may be the strength of the Florida Gators too. So it is almost like they mirror each other. Ben, it's crazy. I know you guys, y'all used to get down a little bit more with Auburn than they do now. It's been a little while since they've locked it up in football, but it'll be interesting, man, for both programs as well. But I want to get to something, and Rob, I'm sure you'll be able to chime in on this. So Front Porch Sports came out with a list of the 100 most electric college football players of all time, which led yours truly to write an article in GatorBait magazine. Go check it out. It's basically talking about the list, looking at it, and no offense to Front Porch Sports, this is not necessarily an indictment on their list, but it is a conversation piece, Ben, and you and I text for about an hour about it. But everybody, calm themselves, fans, and we want to hear from our listeners as well. Chime in. So top 10. Here you go, Rob. You ready for it? Mm-hmm. Brace yourself. Top 10 according to Front Porch Sports. Barry Sanders, number 1. Johnny Manziel, number 2. Tavon Austin, number 3. Reggie Bush, number 4. Cam Newton, number 5. Tim Tebow, number 6. Number 7, Saquon Barkley. Number 8, this one will get you, Bo Jackson at 8. Deion Sanders, number 9. And Lamar Jackson, number 10. Now, glaring, I guess, slights. Randy Moss is all the way down at 76. Percy Harvin is at 81. Let's see. Eric Dickerson is at 25. And Ben, I missed one. I said glaring omissions were no Rocket Ismail. They had Manti Te'o from Notre Dame, but no Rocket Ismail. And then Ben checked me because I don't know how they missed that. I didn't see it on the list. No Peter Ward. So, what you think, Rob?
Well, okay. So you were going 1 through 10 or 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
I was going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Barry Sanders, Johnny Manziel, Tavon Austin, Reggie Bush, okay. Cam Newton, Tim Tebow, Saquon Barkley, Bo Jackson, Primetime, Lamar Jackson.
I just want to know if the state where this was put together, if weed or other barbiturates are legal. Come on, man. You've got Manti Te'o and his imaginary girlfriend. I'm just.
Oh God!
That was.
Rob said it. I didn't.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Only on the Lowdown with Loren Meadows.
Well,
there you go.
But you've got it. Percy Harvin. Okay, what time frame is this? All time or in the last?
This is
25 years?
You got it. Obviously, you know, I mean, obviously it's a younger person's list, but you
Yeah.
got Tony Dorsett at 56. I mean, it's not, you know, they got Michael Irvin, Herschel Walker was 36. But I
I mean,
guess my thing is the omissions of it all, Ben, is the fact that I mean, Emmitt Smith at 30, and I guess my question, because Ben and I talked about it, we brought up quarterbacks, and it's hard to identify a quarterback as electric. So I don't necessarily think this is a list of the best players, Ben, but maybe even Shador Sanders at 31. So I think so, Ben. I mean, we talked about let's talk about the omissions. You know, most importantly, like you brought up your guy Peter Warwick. I talked about my guy, one of my favorites, Rocket Ishmael.
yeah.
But yeah, a list without Peter Warwick is almost. I mean, how do you miss that?
I don't respect the list with it. Peter Ward. Look, this is coming from a Florida Gator talking about Peter Ward was him. Like I don't understand it. Without a trip to Dillard's, he's gonna win the Heisman. Like he's going to win it. And I think the thing about these lists is, right? Yeah, you got recency bias. There's no Florida Gator receiver on this list. And I'm talking about with Coach Spurrier Florida Gator receivers now. Not one, not Ike, not Riedel, not Quezzy, not Chris Dorn. Because you're talking about explosiveness. Trent, they got Scatterboo on there from Arizona. He's not better than Trent Richardson from Alabama. Trent Richardson at Alabama. I'm not talking about Trent Richardson NFL, right?
Yeah.
And I think the thing about these lists is, right, we need to be this list, we need to be in the room to say, wait. Randy, listen,
Yeah.
you know who else wasn't on this list? And electric, Michael Crabtree at Texas Tech. Check his numbers. Just 2
No,
years.
he's on there. He's 26.
Okay.
But he's ahead of Randy.
No one
Moss.
should be ahead of Randy. Listen, I love Calvin Johnson. You know, I love all the nobody in college football was better than Randy Moss. Nobody. And here's the thing: Charles Wilson's not on the list. Charles Wilson's not on the list, right? He's not on the list. When the last time a defensive player won?
The Wilson's on 20. He's on 20. He's at 20. He's at 20.
I guess for me, Lauren, it's gonna be this. It's gonna be this, right? This is why we love and hate lists. This is why we love them and hate them, because at the end of the day, we don't know what the criteria is for electric. We really don't. Peter Ward, people act like he was all right at Florida State. No. He was one of them ones, but yeah, Manti Te'o. I'm just saying, listen, he was a good linebacker. Manti Te'o wasn't better than not one linebacker ever went to Alabama. And I'm talking about just Nick Saban era. Yeah. The Nick Saban era linebackers, Reuben Foster hated human beings that didn't wear, crimson and white. Like what are we? But once again, you know what? We're gonna come out with our own list. We're gonna have the lowdown. We're gonna have the sidelines, the 84 reasons list, and I don't want to hear anything because, like I said, Ray Lewis is on the list because he's Ray Lewis, man. Ray Lewis was a good linebacker in Miami, right? He wasn't better than Dan Morgan. What? Man, leave me alone. Once again, people act like we don't watch football. They act like we don't know what we're doing. But you know what? Hey, man, I don't know. It's egregious to say the least. But we have lists that people think Percy Harvin was okay. Percy Harvin. Anyway, I'm just telling y'all, man. Lauren, you got me when you with this list, man. I said to myself, okay.
It was Buddy Martin brought it to my attention, and obviously I think Buddy knows how to push my buttons when he's trying to get me to write something, because that was the perfect push that I needed to, because I've always been somebody that when they talk about the Reggie Bushes, the Tavon Austins, and I'm not talking in any order, not necessarily Marshall Faulk, but that hybrid type of receiver / Percy Harvin, so to speak.
Exactly.
I always say, what about Rocket Ishmael, Rob? I mean, You look at his career at Notre Dame. I think at one time he was averaging close to 25 yards every time he touched the ball. And we talking about when they were still running the wishbone, when they were still running the the triple I, and half the teams in the country. I mean, like I said, Coach Spurrier just started throwing the ball at Duke, but it really wasn't. BYU was throwing it, but you talking about a guy in Rocket Ismail that could do it all. He could hurt you. Basically, and the only thing he didn't play was defense. Line up in the backfield. He at 5'10", 185 pounds. I mean, Rob, you remember him. I mean, just am I wrong to think that he's been overlooked in the annals of when you talk about those multi-purpose guys at that level?
No, and his brother Rahib at Syracuse was fantastic as well. And this is a list made by a young person. You talk to older people, and they're, Marcus Dupree, what time he spent in college was really, really impactful. He had some bad advisors in his college career, but he had 942 yards at Oklahoma. I think he had 287 in the Fiesta Bowl as a freshman out in Neshoba County, Philadelphia, Mississippi. And, Marcus, I've got a connection to him to get him on my show, and I think I'm going to do it. I really would like to talk with him, because what I remember about him was being at the beach when he was in 10th or 11th grade. A bunch of farmers from the Delta that we always go to the beach with, they said the writer in residence, Willie Morris at Ole Miss, said the greatest football player ever to come out of Mississippi probably won't even take a visit to Ole Miss or Mississippi State. It's Texas and Oklahoma. It was a bidding war. But, I mean, I'm with Ben. All-purpose, that's what Percy Harvin out of Virginia Beach, an absolute stud. And you have to think about, Barry Sanders, absolutely on that list. I mean, he played for Pat Jones at Oklahoma State, and they weren't really good. But, man, he had about 2,800 yards. That was 1988. That was so much fun. But you got to think, a running back that Nick Chubb. Where's Nick Chubb on this list out of Cedartown, Chubbtown? This is a list done by somebody young that didn't really go back, too far in time. Chris Doring and Terry Beasley were the leading touchdown scorers as receivers in Southeastern Conference history. Both of them 29, 30, 31 for Doring, a walk-on out of PK Young in Gainesville. Look, you have, and again, it ain't because I'm on this show. You have to put him on there, looking at his stats and the impact that he made while he was in college. And as far as if you look at a player, say from Ole Miss, I don't know. Do you put Arch Manning? I don't think I'd put him on there based on his college career, but I would find Johnny Manziel. He had a great year, but he didn't have a great career. And then don't confuse what they did in college with what they did. In the pros.
And we're not talking.
No, y'all aren't. But people,
I'm just saying they got. I mean, I love Ed Reed, and he should be on there.
Who?
Ed Reed.
He's on there.
Oh, God, yeah.
But
he's on there.
Ain't no Sean Taylor on there.
He should be on there.
Yeah. And they talk about running backs, right? And I get it. Running backs is the easiest, right? You talk about Nick Chubb. Ain't no Todd Gurley on there. Todd Gurley at Georgia. What you know what it is though? I'm gonna tell you how they're supposed to do lists. They're supposed to do one position times 100. Because I don't think we realize how great some of these players were. So,
yeah. Well, and that's, like I said, I keep going back to, imagine the spread offense, Rob, with guys like Rocket Ismail in it. God. That's what I mean. He is. I'm on the soapbox for Rocket Ismail. No, from the get-go. That's one of my buddies. He read my article. He said, "I knew you were going to talk about Rocket Ismail." Because, the first person I went to at the College Football Hall of Fame, they got the interactive, Rocket Ismail. I was just like, it was crazy. And my godson was like, who is that? I was like, bro, I've been trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And
you're
then,
right.
You guys have talked about it. I've heard, and maybe if I'm wrong, but I think you've been quoted as saying it. I think I heard Chris Doring say it and others. A lot of people think Percy Harvin may be the best player ever at Florida.
That's not hyperbole either. Here's the thing, right? Yeah. There is versatility and there is Percy. Most guys want to be that versatile, right? Most guys want to be. Percy could do anything on offense. Anything you wanted him to do, he could do it. And if you are Urban Meyer, you go, dude, I don't even know. I don't have enough plays for this guy with what he can do. Receiver, running back, punt returner, kick returner. But you know what? I'm going to say this. You got Rocket Ishmael. You know who's the most egregious player not on this list? He on there, but he's supposed to be on there twice. They got Adrian Peterson, Oklahoma. They supposed to have Adrian Peterson of Georgia Southern. If you think listen, and I'm gonna say this, the greatest running back to ever play college football in Georgia, I love you, Herschel. It is Adrian Peterson by a mile. Just look at what he did in the playoffs. Don't even look at what he did in the regular season. He had over 1,000 yards in the playoffs alone. I'm just telling y'all, when it comes to these lists, what I don't like about him is it's very, very biased. Hey, listen, Rocket Ishmael, hey, man, we're going to do the Rocket Ishmael list. Rocket, you need to do one with us because I'm telling you, because you know what it is, Lauren, when we start, I forgot about him. It's so many players that we forget about, but just because we forget about it don't mean they weren't supposed to be on the list. I'm just telling y'all, we live in a world where a guy who was up for the Heisman don't even make the most electric list. He was up for and he would have won it. P-Dub, hey man, I don't get why people don't like P-Dub, but
that you're right. And the people that made this list would also make the mistake of saying Dwayne Johnson belongs on this list, an obscure player from Bethlehem. Tommy Tuberville told us on the show, he used to be on every week till he became a senator, and he said, Rob, he goes, I recruited him, and he didn't play a lot at Miami because there was a tight end. They came to me, and I talked to the coaches. He was on the staff with Jimmy Johnson, Dennis Erickson. It was Warren Sapp. And they said, Tuberville thought he could be a great defensive tackle. I said, how's that going to happen? He said, Warren, you're going to have to eat more. And that's how it happened. But Dwayne Johnson played some in college, but he had a hell of a wrestling career. And he's a movie actor and all that stuff. But, man, there's versatility, Ben, but I'm going to come up with a term, Percy-tility. I have nightmares about that guy. He was right. That good. And another one that we're not talking about is, Shannon Sharp and some of the receivers that South Carolina put out there. Tim Brown at Notre Dame. That was a hell of a player. And, I don't know where Desmond Howard ranks on that list, but that list, we could do a list, and I think it would be scrutinized more closely. And we could go back in time and legitimately talk about players because there were guys. I remember a linebacker Florida had named Orpheus Roy. And I'd have to say one of the greatest players Florida's ever had is out of Titusville, Florida, Astronaut High School. Wilbur Marshall was a phenomenal linebacker. Right. He was such a badass. He took out a side of the field.
Well, let me get to one more thing real quick, and we'll hyper have at it real quick. Josh Pate put out his post-spring 2025 rankings. We got Clemson, Texas, Penn State, Alabama, LSU, Notre Dame, Oregon, Ohio State, Florida, Oklahoma, Florida number 9, Oklahoma 10, UGA, Miami, Arizona State, Texas A&M, Illinois, Ole Miss, Georgia Tech, South Carolina, Michigan, and Texas Tech. We'll go real quick. Hype or have at it. Just real quick. Just give me hype or have at it. Clemson, number 1 post-spring. Rob, hype or have at it.
I think it's a little bit of hype, but I would put them in the top 5. But, the rest of those teams in there, you can throw them all in there together, and any one of them could make a run at number 1.
Ben, hype or have at it. Clemson, number 1.
I'm going to go hype for Clemson for the simple fact that until Clemson can show me consistent quarterback play, it's going to be hype for me. I know they still the cream of the crop when it comes to the ACC, with Carson Beck down there in Miami, but I got to see consistent quarterback play.
Yep. Hype or have at it. Florida, number 9 in the country. Hype or have at it, Ben.
Man, you know what? It's both. It's hype and have at it. You know why? Because right now, if you saw the spring, Lauren, which I know you did, I'm just telling you. I have orange and blue glasses on. I know you guys can't see it. I get it. But I'm gonna have attitude. Why? Because his name is DJ Lagway, and because his shoulder isn't what we thought it was. It's hype because we haven't played anybody. But last time I checked, the young man started 5 games, went 5-0. I'm gonna go hype, and I'm gonna go have that. I'm gonna go both.
Rob, hyper, have at it.
It's an easy thing. I don't think it's hype. I've got Florida picked to win 10. If you got Oklahoma at number 10, based on Brent Venables taking over the defense, a healthy DJ Lagway, and I think he will be healthy. And I'm with Ben. That last 5-game stretch last year, he wasn't available against Texas, and he got injured 20-all tie with 7 minutes left against Georgia. It's kind of a what could be, what will be, what might be with that guy. But he's just going to demand everybody around him play better, and it's going to happen.
All right. Fellas, appreciate you joining me tonight, man. We want to thank our sponsor, Titan MRI. Joe Calorio is back. He acquired a Highfield MRI, and now he's joined it with Titan MRI and Imaging. And they have a new location coming soon in Ocala, serving Gainesville, Lake City, and even Valdosta, Georgia. No insurance, no problem. Claustrophobic, no problem. They got it all. Ben Troupe, 84 Reasons Podcast, my main man, Gator Great. Ben will be on every month, at least once a month, with What's Got Troupe Tripping. And we got Rob Brown of SEC Sidelines. Who you got on tomorrow, Rob Brown?
Man, Jason Caldwell in Auburn, Will Gunner in Columbia, South Carolina, Dudley Dawson, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Vince Ferrara on the Hill in Knoxville, Brendan Martin, executive producer in Ocala. I'll be in Memphis before we head to Birmingham. So we're going to cover all 16. Love your questions and comments, and it's an honor always to be on here with all y'all because y'all know what you're talking about, and it's worth every minute to listen to this channel. Got a great producer, don't we?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Shout out to Brendan Martin. He's remote. I'm remote, and we still rocking and rolling. Like we always say on the Lowdown with Loren Meadows, recording live from somewhere. So with that, we'll say goodnight. The Lowdown with Loren Meadows, Ben Troupe, Rob Brown. Have a great evening, guys.